to be here in good old Cincinnati. It's our little theme song. Hi, kids. Hi, Arthur. Hi, Barry. Hi, Cecilia. Diana. Danny. Emily. Hello, Fred. Hi, George. Hi, Elmira. Louise. Michael. Marty. Hi, Sam. Hi, Sam. Hi, John. Hi, Big John.
Hi, Sparky.
Oh, hey, Big John, I just happened to think of something horrible.
What? Well, okay, tell me all about Captain Jupiter.
Well, I just happened to think that I... Huh? Well, how'd you know I was thinking about Captain Jupiter?
Well, you said you happened to think about something horrible. If there's anything horrible, Captain Jupiter is it.
Yeah, you said it. Boy, what do you mean by that, Big John?
What I mean is if anybody has horrible things happening to him, it's Captain Jupiter. Or something.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I understand. Well, the horrible thing that I happen to think of is that I haven't told you about last week's chapter.
Oh, that's right. I was not sure I was going to get out of it this week. Well, do tell me all about it. What happened last week?
Well, as you will recall, at the end of chapter 252, Captain Jupiter was flying at the head of the formation of the 600 rocket ships that were moving the people of Earth from the Earth to the planet of the Forgotten Man. Remember that?
Yes, because the Earth was doomed to die inside the hard shell formed by the pink smoke from the blown-up invisible amoeba ammunition dumps. Huh?
Mm-hmm, that's right. Well, just as Captain Jupiter and his 600 rocket ships were circling the deserted planet of the Forgotten Man, it blew up, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Blew up right in Captain Jupiter's face, disappeared into thin air in a big puff of tattletale gray smoke.
And that's where chapter 252 ended. Now tell me, what did Captain Jupiter do in 253?
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh.
As chapter 253 started, there was the smoke from the explosion on the planet of the Forgotten Man clearing away, see?
Mm-hmm.
And Captain Jupiter and the 600 rocket ships filled with the people from Earth circled the spot where the deserted planet had been. Captain Jupiter kind of blinked his eyes in wonderment and amazement and said, in his quaint old voice, "It blew up." He said, "It blew up." He repeated, "It blew up and disappeared in a puff of smoke."
A brilliant remark if I ever heard one, and I've heard one.
Yeah. Then Captain Jupiter turned and looked over his shoulder, which at the same time he shrugged, and looked up into the dark brown eyes of his fiancée, Staff Sergeant Millicent and Millicent. "Well, my love," he said, "looks like we've got no place to go." And his sweetheart, Staff Sergeant Millicent and Millicent, smiled sweetly and gave Captain Jupiter a reassuring pat on the back.
How romantic.
Yeah. All the girls down at the Westwood Theater, Kitty McKeester and Gloria Globenstraddle and Frida Finster and all the rest of those dumb girls, they just sat there and sighed. You want to know how they sighed, Big John?
How?
Just like this.
That's nice.
And then they all sigh together. Every time Millicent and Millicent, Staff Sergeant Millicent and Millicent looks kind of sweet at Captain Jupiter, they all go, yeah, disgusting.
I suppose all you boys just sat there and slumped down in your chairs, perhaps.
No, sir. Golly, no, we stamped our feet and hissed and booed. That was one of the very few times that we ever booed Captain Jupiter, Big John.
I see.
Boy, when he gets romantic, us guys get disgusted. He can kiss his rocket ship. That's okay. But if he holds his girlfriend's hand or kisses her, that is out.
That's out.
O-U-double out.
Yes, well. So what happened next?
Well, at long last, Captain Jupiter snapped out of his romantic stupor and got down to business.
Mm-hmm.
And he said,
What'd he say?
What'd he say? Oh, yeah, he said, well, we just can't cruise around in space with 600 rocket ships filled with people.
That figures.
We have to find a place for them to live.
How true. So?
Well, so Captain Jupiter threw the switch on his two-way radio, and he talks to the rest of the rocket ships in the formation, he says. He did.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Men, alter course. We are heading for the planet Neptune." And then real quick like, there's a voice from one of the other rocket ships, which was being piloted by a man from the planet Pluto. And this voice shouted back through the radio and said, "You can't land there."
And why not?
"And why not?" shouted Captain Jupiter.
Huh?
Just like you did, Big John.
Yes.
"And why not?" he shouted. And then this voice came back and said, "Don't you remember 6 years ago when the planet Wolf 465 exploded and all the people from there moved to Neptune to live? They have no more room for any more people."
Oh, how awful. Well, then what?
Captain... Huh?
Then what?
Captain Jupiter scratched his head.
Stumped?
No. Please.
Please?
Yeah. See, Captain Jupiter's dog Lillian has fleas, and Captain Jupiter lets Lillian sleep in his hat.
Oh.
And one of the fleas must have jumped off of Lillian's back and stayed in Captain Jupiter's hat, see?
I see.
Then Captain Jupiter got a brilliant idea.
Uh-huh.
I got it, he shouted.
A brilliant idea?
No, the flea.
Oh, I see.
You see the flea, huh?
I see the flea.
So, Captain Jupiter stopped scratching his head and shouted, "We'll land on the moon. There's plenty of room there."
Good.
Yeah, so the 600 rocket ships headed for the moon.
Now, wait a minute. Did you say Captain Jupiter was going to take the people from this Earth to the moon to live?
There, but there's no air.
Yes.
It just so happens, Sparky, that it would be impossible for the people on Earth to live on the moon.
No, nothing.
Right?
Sure.
How come?
No oxygen. No nothing. Nothing can live on the moon. Not even trees and plants. It's just...
Where'd you ever get an idea like that?
Why, it's a scientifically known fact.
It's an ancient 20th century scientifically known fact, Big John.
Hmm?
In the year 3000, when this story about Captain Jupiter takes place, it will be possible for people to live on Earth. The people who live on Earth to live on the moon. Proven by the fact that Captain Jupiter and the 600 rocket ships filled with people from Earth landed on the moon.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, then Captain Jupiter and everybody got out of the rocket ships. And then, Big John,
Yes.
as they stood there looking at the planet, which would now be their home, it happened.
It did, huh? What happened?
A real loud, roaring growl filled the air. Captain Jupiter jumped back and stood stiff and straight. His sweetheart, Staff Sergeant Millicent and Millicent, grabbed his arm. "What's wrong?" she said, just like that. "What's wrong?" "What is that?" she asked.
Yeah. Well, what was it?
"The man in the moon,"
Huh?
Captain Jupiter said. "That's bad," Captain Jupiter said.
That's good.
"All you have to do is look at him and it kills you." "Well, boy, let's get back in the rocket ship and escape,"
Yes.
Staff Sergeant Millicent and Millicent
Let's
said.
go.
"Too late,"
Oh.
Captain Jupiter said.
That's like this.
"The man in the moon would just reach up and grab our rocket ships out of the sky. Brace yourself, old girl," he said.
Mhm.
"We're about to meet the man in the moon face to face." And then, Big John,
Yes, yes, yes. And
let's
then?
get our party started. That's where chapter 253 ended.
That's where the that's where the chapter ended. I see. So the man in the moon is about to reach up and grab the rocket ship, and if you just look at the man in the moon, it will kill you. Say, this this serial is running true to the norm now. It's getting a little violent. So the man in the moon is a pretty vicious old guy. Well, it's a lot different in 3000 A.D. than it is in 1953 A.D. Man in the moon's a pretty friendly fella to a lot of people, I guess. And just to look at him, well, sometimes it gets you might just as well be dead. Oh, me. Well, how's everybody today? I said while our theme song was playing that it dawned crisp and clear and bright in Cincinnati, and indeed it did. I walked out the front of the house this morning to get the newspaper before the party started, and I noticed that the frost had formed on the automobile that was sitting out in Front Street. I didn't put it in the garage last night, and the air was real nippy. But I think it's going to warm up as the day goes by, and I think we're going to have a nice, clear, spring-like day. I hope it's nice at your house. As Sparky says, let's get the party started. We'll have our first record story in just a minute.